Hello and welcome back to another special edition of the Forest Lake Morning Show. Today we are joined with Corrine Oliviia, a local and beautiful, talented artist out of the Tampa area. Last week we mentioned we were looking to have more artists from the local area come on, and we are pleased and grateful to have you on our show this week.
I'm freaking stoked, finally.
You doing good, Corrine? How are we today?
Yes, I am feeling great today.
Cool.
Feeling good.
As much as the audience doesn't know, we also just kind of met each other today for this podcast. So we're going to get to know you as much as they're going to get to know you. And we're pretty excited about it.
We're going to be best friends by the end. So
that's the goal.
Yeah. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah. And are there consequences if we're not? Are we canceled if we fail that mission?
Yeah.
Corinne's going to put a hit out there for us and be like, Forest Lake Morning Show, done.
Get
rid of them.
They're
Get
canceled.
Dang it.
Okay, so Corrine, tell us a little bit about your history, right? Like if you're telling somebody about music or yourself as an artist in Tampa, kind of just give us the lay of the land with you as an artist and a person.
Okay, like how I started or
your upbringing, your history, just kind of, what do you want to start off with the people to know about you?
Okay, I guess just how I started singing, because it's a very interesting story and I love to tell it. First, when I was born, I came out screaming, like the entire floor heard me.
Okay.
And the doctor goes to my dad, she's either gonna be a yeller or she's gonna be a singer. And my dad's like, please let her be a singer. So it lucked out for him that I turned out to be a singer. But
that's kind of amazing,
right? That the doctor would say that.
Yeah,
I love that. And then I was homeschooled starting in the third grade. So, and I think that I really don't know if I would be singing if that didn't happen, if my mom didn't pull me out, because I was able to finish schoolwork in 3 hours, and then the rest of the day, my entire every single memory I have from probably 4 to 18, it was just me singing every day for hours. And I wouldn't have had that ability if I was in school, and I don't even know if that would have been a passion. I mean, music always was. But I never thought that I could make a substantial career out of it. Right. So I was going to school to be a dental hygienist. I'm like, they make bank. That seems fun. I would love that. And everyone around me was like, it's ridiculous that you don't see that you're going to be a singer for the rest of your life.
Right.
And I'm like, there's no way. I do it for fun. It's my hobby, but I don't see it being sustainable long term. And then my mom she's also my manager, my own little Kris Jenner. She's a saint of a woman. And I went through a rebellious period from 16 to 18, 19. And she knew that I would eventually come around and want to pursue singing. And so she wanted to be ready for that time. So she went out to all of Ruby's and all the places in Tampa and St. Pete and connected with all the musicians so that she would be ready to put together a band for me or help me put together a band when I decided to stop being an idiot, partying all the time and shit. So
what a manager.
Huh?
What a manager.
Right?
Yeah. Good mom.
She just, and then when the time came, we walk into a random venue in St. Pete and everyone's like, CJ's in the house. And I'm like, have you been just going out every night? And she's like, yes, I just knew that you'd be ready eventually and I wanted to be ready for you.
So that's your first show, what you just brought up there?
So that was kind of me deciding that I would try to pursue this as a career. I'm like, all right, if this many people believe in me, for me to not believe in it, they're clearly seeing something that I'm just not, because I honestly think it was my release. It was my outlet. It was what I did to cope with everything. So I didn't look at it as a job. It was my thing. And then I said, I was like, all right, I still don't think I can make this a job, but if I'll join some local singing contests, and if I win them, I think I set an outrageous number. I was like, if I win 10 in a row, I'll do this.
Okay. How long ago was this? We're talking just roughly.
Probably.
Was this recent or?
This is probably 12 years ago, because I've been doing it full time for 10 years because I was doing it part time for 2 years. So yeah. And I won them and I was like, fuck, now I actually have to do this. Damn it.
Okay, and that's all by yourself too, right? Because your mom was out there doing all the back end work and getting you ready.
She was, and I was just she knew I just needed to convince myself. And she's like, when she finishes these bullshit contests, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I should have asked that before I
you're good,
swear,
yeah.
but and I like she knew I just needed to prove it to myself, and she's like she'll eventually get there and stop being an idiot.
It's kind of beautiful to hear that because we even had chats about like how important it is the people that are in your inner circle, and
Yeah.
the ones that
Oh
you
my
trust
God.
and that support you, and
Yeah.
that have your back like
Yeah.
that. And now look at where you're at now, right? Wouldn't have been here otherwise.
No, like I owe so much of that to her. Like it's insane.
And she's still rocking with you as on the management side. Right?
Yeah, we
Doing
kind of
everything.
like we had to evolve as like I was, gigging more and taking like more of ownership over it.
Yeah.
Because I have extreme ADHD, and so it's like hard for me to plan out my day rather than like coordinating with an entire band and then all this stuff. So she was like, all right, you just focus on the artistry at this point.
Okay.
Because I was painfully shy. And another thing that she was constantly doing, and I hated her for this when she would do it, but looking back, it was essential. She would literally Google like Applebee's that had karaoke like going on, and she'd be like, "Hey, Corinne, let's go out tonight." And I was just like, "All right, like I fucking love Applebee's," and then
And you
she'd
get
be-
there, there's just
she'd
like a
be
stage with your name on it.
She'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And the first time I'm not thinking anything of it. And then the next thing I hear, I'm like, just like going to town on my like, $2 margarita. And I hear, welcome Corrine Oliviia to the stage. And I'm like, motherfucker.
That's kind of crazy.
But like she just knew that if she had told me that she was going to do that, I'd be like, fuck no, we're leaving.
Yeah.
And she did it so that her thing was like, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I want to like constantly be putting you in these situations where you don't have to prepare. And also by me not knowing, I didn't have that time to be nervous. And it really helped like moving forward of like just how I deal with like bigger shows that do make me a little bit nervous now.
Right.
And it's just like all of that she did like still sticks with me today and like gets me through like things that I don't think I'm capable of.
Do you have like PTSD now if your mom's like,
yeah.
hey, can we go to
Yeah. But
Ruby
now it's a
Tuesdays
little
or
bit
something?
different because it's like everyone. I did such a freaking 180 where it was like I went from like my first show ever was at a deli that I worked in Hudson. And I'm like singing to people that are on hospice. Like, and it's my dad owns a lawn service, so he invited all of his customers. So it was all of like a bunch of 90-year-olds. Like, is she singing? I can't hear her. And I was terrified. Like I threw up before the show, and I'm like, looking back now, I'm just like, I was singing to people that couldn't even hear me in Hudson of all places, and I was nervous. And for the entire 2.5 hour show, I just stood like this behind the mic, like did not move. Like I was just another mic stand behind the mic stand.
Yeah.
And then her getting me out, constantly pushing me out of my comfort zone. Now it's like, if there's karaoke somewhere, you are going to have to physically pry the mic from my hands.
Okay.
And I don't think that would have happened. I mean,
it's
maybe,
180.
I mean, it all like, of course it all has to piece together to like bring me to where I am now in my career and my life and whatever. But it's just insane how all those things had to add up. And when I think about like what, where would I be if these things didn't happen? Would I be too shy to perform? And then that would just keep me from gigging. And gigging now is my life.
That's interesting though. Like I feel like a lot of artists are actually shy in real life, but once they get
Right?
on a stage,
It
it's like
just-
a whole different
yeah.
person.
Yeah.
It's like it's like Beyonce when she was because she's painfully shy too. That's why she had to develop the whole Sasha Fierce thing, so that when she's on stage, she's like, I'm not Beyonce right now. I'm Sasha Fierce, so I can do all the shit that she does. And I had to kind of do that too. Like I had to put on like a different persona because I'm like, I am a fraud right now. Like I'm not. I shouldn't be up here. I should not have a mic. And then it was just the mental switch in my head of like, no, I'm confident. Like.
Yeah.
Were you always by yourself? Like when you first started, you were just by yourself singing, or did you have like a band? Or
So when I started with tracks.
okay,
And they were my security blanket because I knew exactly what was going to happen and it was always going to be the same. And I was terrified to play with like a band. And then I started my first band, which it was a fucking train wreck. And it's just like, you don't ever like, to me in this industry, like you don't fail, you either win or you learn. And in this situation, it was such a learning experience for me that in the moment, it was like a lot of money out of my pocket for no reason. Because my mom got, the best musicians of Tampa and St. Pete together. I've never been in a band before. Like, I had no idea how to lead a band, and I was supposed to be the leader. And because I didn't step up, like, someone else stepped up. Like, naturally, that's just like the pecking order. Like, someone has to lead the freaking band.
Right.
And then it turned into a Stevie Wonder tribute band.
Currently, that's what it is.
This band is R.I.P. This band is 6 feet underground.
Shout out to mom though for getting like the best people. Is she available for hire?
Yes.
What was the name of that band? Do you know that you got?
Yeah, I just called it the Corrine Oliviia band. I was just it's just me. But it was, and then I wanted to do Drunken Love, and the bassist kind of took me in and looked at me as like a daughter figure. Okay. And that's where it all got fucked up, because I'm like, technically you work for me, and this is not the dynamic that's gonna help us down the line. And it was as soon as I sent him the set list and how I wanted to do like Crazy in Love, and I wanted to do like a show, and I sent him Drunken Love, and he sends me back this voicemail saying like, I am appalled. Did you read these lyrics? This is disgusting. You're a classy lady. I look at you like you're my daughter. I can't be on stage playing while you are singing and gyrating to these words.
Yeah, forgetting that your manager hired him.
And I'm just like, that. This is not like, you've crossed the line is so far crossed. We can't even fucking see the line anymore.
Bass players.
So, and then after that, I was just like, this is not it. But it was a learning experience. Like, I needed time under my belt on stage talking to musicians, because I play, but I don't play well enough to be able to talk to a musician to be like, no, I want it to sound like this or this. I have to just figure out how to relay that. And my MD, the musician I work with now that I've been working with, like, he's my musical soulmate.
Tori Thomas.
Yeah, he just like reads my mind, and like I could literally say, okay, it sounds a little bit like and I want it to sound like and he's like, got it. And I'm like, how the fuck did you know what I just said?
Right. From the footage I have seen and the content you have posted with him, you definitely see that you guys match way better compared to what you're describing with the
shit was
Rest in Peace band.
Dark. Is he the piano player?
Yeah.
He's so good.
He's a fucking prodigy.
Really
He's so good.
Yeah, right now it's just you two though, right? So you and him will go do shows, or is there other people, or?
But I have like a standby band. Okay. So, but COVID kind of really, because I was working heavily before COVID, and then probably 6 months before COVID even happened, my grandmother, who was like my person, got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and my parents moved her into their house full time to take care of her, and my mom was just like really drowning, and then COVID happened, so I'm like, I'll come back, I'll help you, I'll take care of her with you, and that kind of really slowed everything down, like gigging wise, obviously, because COVID you couldn't, but and then getting back, like, and then COVID ended, but I was still taking care of her, and it was just dangerous for me to go out and sing and then come back to her. But what was I freaking saying?
With your band, your standby band. So,
but then when I found, like, what I'm seeing now in this music scene is like, people that they want a band, but they're not willing to pay for a band. It's like, if I'm doing a band gig, I'm literally doing it just for fun. Like, I'm going to pay my musicians more than I'm making, because it's like, I'm not going to pay them $120 for a 3-hour gig. I can't like moral compassly do that. And so if I book a band, it's just because I want to do it. It's just more cost effective as a duo and trio too now.
Yeah.
That's something I feel like a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, people that will go to a restaurant or go to a bar and expect to have music.
Yeah.
Especially like a live band setting, but like they don't know that side of it.
Yeah. And it's crazy, even like delving into that more. People don't understand. Like, I've had people come up to me at gigs and go, do you get paid for this? And they're like, and I was just like, well, yeah. And they're like, oh, you just get paid from the tips, right? And I was like, what? Like, I'm just doing this for fun. Like, I'm lugging all this. Like, yeah, I would do it for fun, but like, it's sick to get paid.
Right.
It's just, people don't understand that side of it. And then business owners don't understand, like, if you want the band there, yes, it's going to cost you a little bit more money, but you're going to be bringing in so much more clientele, because as a duo, like, Tori will play left-hand bass, but it's still not going to get the people freaking going like, a band will. So even though they have to pay more, in the end, I feel like it evens out.
So tip your bands.
Tip your
Tip them well.
freaking bands.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear that because we are new to the Tampa area, Brendan and I. We've been here a year. Well,
A year?
I've been here a year. He's been here a couple years, but
Like 4
Damn
or
it,
5.
and you guys are hustling and you've only been here a year. I'm freaking...
Well,
okay, you guys are making me feel bad, but it's all good.
see, we think of that of you as a hustler out here playing all these shows and doing
Yeah.
everything. The reason we haven't had you on sooner is because of the schedule conflicts with how many shows you have going on. So
Yeah.
you're out here doing the real work, the grind. And
Well, speaking of shows, pre-show rituals. Do you have any? Besides throwing up sometimes?
That was only the one time.
Just
only
the
the
one
once?
Never
Okay.
happened again.
One and done.
One and done. That's all I needed. It was too embarrassing. I was like, Beyonce wouldn't do this. I can't do this. But so on my like 30 minutes out to my gig, I have to listen to like gangbanger rap. Like
Yeah?
it has to be like more talent in my motherfucking left thumb. Like I need to hear that on the way.
That gets you in the zone.
It just,
The
I'm
pulse is pretty-
freaking,
yeah.
I'm about to stunt on a bunch of people that didn't ask to be stunted on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to walk in with, it's like not the Corrine Oliviia show yet. So,
what happens
That's
5
cool.
minutes before the show?
5 minutes before the show, if I'm there early, I like really set up. I'm very OCD about, because like the best compliment that I receive after a gig or when I'm at a gig is when people come up and say, you sound like you don't belong here. Like that's the best compliment to me, because
sure.
I don't just take it as in like I sound better than I shouldn't be in this bar. Like I take
Right.
it as in like, well, hopefully like to me, like they're meaning all encompassing of like the gig. Like I'm very like I'm picky about every aspect, because to me it's like, this is my full-time job. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, and I want to treat it with that respect. So
Yeah.
it's like past musicians that I've worked with will like, leave like their backpack behind the thing and like leave their like keyboard case out, and I'm like, no. This needs to look way more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Clean it
just have
up.
to sound good. It has to look good. And I'm like very, picky about that. But then usually I'll just like take a shot or something, or like chief my vape so I get that little soda
Little
in my
rasp.
voice.
Yeah.
And then I just freaking stunt on people for 3.5 hours.
With a bunch of bangers.
Yeah,
Are you
just-
doing mainly covers, originals?
I do
mix?
both. I have like 100 unfinished songs and just like 50
Sounds about
different
right.
notebooks. The voice memos are
I was
disgusting.
just about to
Like,
ask, like, hey, let's pull up the voice memos. Let's go deep.
The vault. Yeah.
You,
vault.
hey, you show
'Cause-
me yours and then I'll
yeah,
show you mine.
That's never gonna happen.
Um,
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I'll go on sometimes just if I want a little giggle, and I'll like look at the year that I did it. I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to hear this one. And I do. She was unhinged at this in this year. I don't want to go back to this time.
Yeah. It's funny. I'll get to a certain point where like I know which one is gonna come next. Like,
Oh my god!
Do you know
yes.
what I'm talking about? Like,
And I'm
you
like,
hear
oh, no,
something,
no,
you're
no.
like, oh,
Skip.
cringe. You're like, I know the next 5 are gonna suck. Let's skip those.
The 8th one though, kind of a banger.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Has potential. Yes.
There's a method to it.
Yeah, there is a method to the madness. How do you guys, when you write, like, do you write together, or how do you? I want to hear that.
It's a
story.
combination. It's
Yeah.
A lot of times we do try to work together because we'll probably get the most productive amount of work done.
Yeah.
But as far as like pulling inspiration from individual places of what we're going through,
Yeah.
it's separate. So like when I'm out of the house, he'll do something,
Yeah.
and then he'll show it to me later, and vice versa. So
that's
it's kind of
cool.
like we do it separately and then kind of come together, or sometimes we do just start something new to kind of clear our heads
Yeah.
from something else,
Yeah.
and just try to roll with it
Oh,
as
you
much as
guys
we
are
can.
lucky. It's like that Billie Eilish and Phineas
Well, we're not that
situation.
good.
Oh yeah.
If we could be like that, that would be sweet.
No, you guys
Yeah.
are freaking good. Stop. Take the compliment.
Thank you.
He's like, thank you.
Thank you so much. I struggle so much with writing because that's the part that's like I just need to grow in that area more.
Yeah.
Just because I can't stand messing up. Like even at a gig, like I used to do it a lot more, and I realized it like wasn't benefiting me at all. But it's still in the back of my mind that like it just subconsciously I keep a tally of how many times I've messed up per gig. And if I like leave a gig and I had 0 mess ups, like not one single mess up, I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
But when it comes to songwriting, like when I do it by myself, I'm constantly needing like outside affirmation to be like, oh, that's sick. Like do that or like switch it to this. It's like I don't trust myself yet in that sense of like.
Do you ever do collabs?
That's what I love. I love doing collabs. Like the one single I have out now was a collab with a producer that I've known and worked with since I was 16. He's like who I actually like started music with when I thought I just couldn't do it. And at that point I only knew literally one song. I could only sing At Last because it was the only one I could do perfect. And then he like would spend hours with me just being like teaching me harmonies and showing me like, okay, this is how we use Logic and this is it was just, even he saw it at that age, which is insane. But so I love collabing. Like when I'm collabing, I just feel like maybe that's also a security blanket in a sense. But the one thing I don't need help when it comes to writing is diss tracks. I have like 75 diss tracks on my list, and they're I'm not gonna lie, like not to freaking toot my own horn, but they're kind of fire.
Are we?
Wait, what is a diss track?
Like Eminem diss track rapping kind of thing? Like,
yeah, like when someone fucks me over, I'm like, oh, you're gonna wish you didn't do that. And then I just write, and it just flows out. So I've realized with that, the best time for me to write is when I'm angry.
Do you produce your stuff at all, or?
I try.
You try?
I like super try. And there's when I like revisit it, I'm like, oh, this like doesn't suck. Like if I really tried at this, I feel like I could be good. And that's something I really want to get into.
It would be so cool. I just had this thought. I was like, Corinne's out here with like a alter ego SoundCloud rapping, like diss tracks all out on SoundCloud.
Oh my god, what would my name be? It would needs to have Trill in it.
It'd be something sweet.
Okay, let's marinate on it, and then we'll come back to it.
We'll foster it. Okay, so let's go back to like your music real quick. So your covers at these shows, right, that you're playing, are we talking, obviously it depends on the gig that they're going to allow the time for you to play. But I mean, you got to, like you said, you stay ready.
Yeah.
What are we talking with how many songs you're ready to play at a given notice in a gig?
I have probably 300 songs.
Just like, let's go.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's just muscle memory at this point, or there's still like you got to rehearse and like do some fine tuning per show to make it unique? Or
what's so annoying about being a perfectionist is like if I just didn't worry about it, it would be muscle memory. But I'm so like, oh, I haven't done it in 3 months. Like
that's what makes like an artist great, though.
I know,
like,
but
just
it's
finding all
just
those little things that like could be slightly better,
right?
But like to the untrained ear, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then I'll show it to my friends, and they're like, "This is fine." I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like slightly flat here, and I know I can be better. Mm-hmm. And it's even at like my gigs where if I mess up, and then like Tori will be like, "No one heard that. Like you were like,
it's in your head.
You just did a run that you didn't want to do." And I was just like, Tori, I'm like, I don't care if this was Madison Square Garden. Right. I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard it, and I know that I'm better than that.
It's like us producing songs, and we'll like get it to a point where it's solid, and we'll send it to people to get some feedback. And they're like, "That's amazing! Like, release it." And then we'll keep working on it for another like 3 months, and we're like pulling it apart. Yeah, like what are we doing?
And then it's like you just have to go back. It's like when you're getting dressed and you put on like 17 outfits, and then you end up wearing the first one you put on. It's like when you overthink it, that's when you like almost dilute the art because then it's not authentic. Now it's like we're just picking apart every single aspect of it.
That's Tyler. Before, like anywhere we go, 17 different outfits.
It's a t-shirt. It's like if it doesn't feel right.
And then I just go with the simplest outfit that I started out with. I'm just like, I'll never get those 30 minutes back ever.
But if you look good, you feel good.
Exactly.
So it's important.
It's pimp mindset, baby.
Yeah.
Pimp mindset.
Do you have a beef with artists or other cover bands in the area, or is it all pretty great community?
Turf wars.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Bro, I'm not a snitch.
I know you're not a snitch. I'm not saying.
Hey, it's all right. We have 3 people who watch this podcast. 1 is in India, so we're good.
Somewhere across the way, yeah. When we look at our statistics, but no, I'm just curious because you have such a unique and firsthand experience of the Tampa music scene as an artist that we don't have because we haven't played our first show. So I'm just curious with what that's like. If there's other bands that try to get the same gig that you had, or if you guys communicate with each other, or
I'm trying to see how I can word this without knowing who I'm talking about.
So that's what you're saying. There is drama.
There's a one person.
Oh, okay. One person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we don't have to say the name.
Is this at like the same venue?
Okay, so this person's name is. Sorry, just the audio cut out. I don't know what happened.
Forest Lake's canceled somehow.
Yeah. So there was a situation because I think what you touched on this earlier of like what songs that I can do, or like, you know, like what songs I pick for different venues or whatever. But when I first started, my booking agent at the time was like, okay, you have to do top 40. And I was like, I'd rather die. I'd rather get run over by a lawnmower 4 times.
You have to play top 40 songs.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do like, and I was like, I looked at your website. You have 40 different bands and they have the exact same set list. It's just, they have different faces. And I'm like, so how about like, you just trust me. Let me do my songs, which is like 90s R&B. And then I'll like mix like top 40 that doesn't suck ass into like this. I'll just do mashups of like Return to the Mac into something current. And I'm like, let me do that for 2 weeks. If the venues don't like it, I'll do top 40 till I die.
Yeah.
And then...
This was your manager telling you this?
This was my booking agent.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, all right, fine. And then he calls me and he's like, I hate admitting when I'm wrong. And I was like, fuck yes. But the thing with like my music is like even like if I'm doing like a Bruno Mars song or something, like none of the songs that I do, like I don't do them like the radio version. Like I make them my own. Like I'll make like a Bruno Mars song, like reggae or something, just to like make myself stand out. And then it's not boring for people to hear because they're like, I've heard this song 5,000 times, like, and now I'm hearing it in a different way. And I really want to like start recording like the covers and stuff. Yeah. And because like on TikTok now, like people just doing different renditions of songs that have been around for freaking decades.
Yeah, it blows up.
And then they're recording it and then it's getting like millions of streams on Spotify. I'm like, all right, let me get some of that yaper, dog.
Sometimes like the second rendition is better than the original. And that's when it's like really cool.
And then it makes me so angry though that people don't know or respect the original writer.
Yeah.
Like
that happens all the time.
Like Fast Car, and people think Justin Bieber wrote it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
like
painful.
half of the pop songs. We were just talking about this earlier, but I don't think that turned out to be true. But like half of the songs out there now are like covers. They're covers. Like, and you'll hear the original, and sometimes it'll be dead on like what it is now. Like they didn't change a thing except their production, obviously. But it's crazy.
Like I just heard this song. Do you listen to Victoria Monet?
No.
Oh my god.
Good.
Okay, we're gonna listen to it after this.
Okay.
Because I have to be there when you experience this for the first time. Because I wish I could experience it for the first time all over again. But she was like one of the like industry writers, like Lady Gaga and like a few other people. And she was like Meghan Trainor. She was writing for Beyonce, and then she just in the last like 5 years maybe started writing her own stuff. And I just heard this song yesterday, and I was like, this is fucking genius. Because you know that song, on my mama, on my hood, I look black, I look good. Yeah. And then she freaking sampled it, but sang it like that part slower. And then she did that twice for the chorus, and then just took the original and put it there and slowed it down. And I was like, well, that's fucking genius. So
that sounds kind of cool.
I'm so excited for you to hear it. I'm pumped.
Huh.
Victoria Monet. Mm-hmm. She's just out in LA doing stuff.
She's been around for a minute. I mean, her sound is so like, her production and her sound is so much like Beyonce, like with the horns and like the massive big band behind like all of her breakdowns and shit. I love big
bands.
Fucking love it. I love it.
So since you're bringing that up, like we're talking about social media and TikTok here, do you see like a good thing coming with the future of more artificial intelligence stuff? And something we talk about a lot is, you know, you have it here, right? You're hearing a song and kids nowadays don't even know who the original artist was.
Yeah, it hurts my soul.
Social media. Yeah. So what's like your kind of thought on that? Is it something you're worried about, or you're just going to roll with it?
No, I feel like I think about this all the time, actually, as of lately because of AI, and it's scaring the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. But I honestly feel like the jobs that will be safe are artists in any form, because we don't want to see a machine make art. Like that's what makes art sick, is that it can be imperfect. The person can mess up. The computer's not going to fucking mess up. And athletes, because no one's going to want to see a bunch of fucking robots running on a field.
I mean,
like, we know who's going to win. They're robots. Doctors' jobs, they're going first. Yeah. They're done. I'd rather have a machine operate on me than an imperfect.
Contrary to what people thought, it was like the artistry is going to get taken by the AI first, but it's now the opposite. It's like,
because I feel like, because I've heard like the where they're like doing like they type in like do this verse like Drake or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not going to see that live because Drake's not going to perform that.
Right.
So it's like the whole point is to like get hyped to the music and then go see your songs live.
Yeah.
What if it could write like the perfect song for you? Like takes like a Spotify recommendation or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Where it literally makes the perfect song.
Oh, it'll fuck writers.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
So yeah, okay, well, yeah.
And then you're like, oh my god, this is a banger. Like this is
fuck. This is heat.
Yeah.
I hate that I like this.
This is why we got to go to your vault and the voice memos and pull out the stuff that
let's
AI can't create.
Let's probably not.
Let's dive
Let's
deep.
probably not.
Dive deep in there. Pull out the diss tracks.
Wait. So AI, you said you would trust a robot to do like surgery on you.
Hell yeah.
What about a pilot? Would you rather have no pilots flying your plane?
I want pilots.
Human pilots.
Yeah, I want human pilots because I don't know, I get weird with like different things that I watch on YouTube and I will just freaking nonstop. I'm just obsessed.
There is a rabbit hole in YouTube.
And just hours. And I'm like, how did an entire day go by? And I've watched like, you just type in like passenger had to like land the plane or like the pilot had to override the fucking plane and shut everything off and land that bitch on his own. And I'm like, I'd rather someone with a critical thinking mind that's been flying for 40 years than a machine. Yeah.
For sure.
So AI is not going to affect the music industry like some people may say it will, in your belief. You think it's pretty good because they can't create that human touch.
Well, also live performances, like covers, and just like you go to a bar or you go anywhere, like concerts, that's not going to end.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because people want to see it. Like people want to see art happening right before their eyes.
Yeah, that's a whole like visceral experience.
Exactly.
Like you feel like the bass and the kick and all that stuff.
And then you're in a room with a bunch of people who love this same song. Now you're in this community.
And you're interacting with the crowd. Like, you can't do
it.
A robot can't do that.
Absolutely not. I would never want to see that.
Yeah, not yet. It gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
Robot cannot play Janice live, which I did want to bring up because we found a video of you playing Janice live. For people that don't know, Janice live is like, I don't want to say it's like the House of Blues of Tampa because Tampa doesn't have a House of Blues, but it's like the bigger venue. 2,000 some people I think you can hold.
2,000. And
we actually were there at a show recently. It's an awesome venue.
It's so sick. So sick.
It's outside. It's like in an alley that kind of opens up.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. It's all open.
Been around since the 90s, I think. And you had an opportunity to play there.
Yeah.
So 2-part question here.
Okay.
What was that like?
Two-parter.
And then also, what is that like the best venue you've played in the Tampa area? What else have you played? What do you look forward to play?
Okay, so Janice was part of a singing competition.
Okay.
It was just like a fat stack of money to win at the end of it. And it started at the Hard Rock and we need to freaking circle back too because I didn't even tell you about the beef and it's really important.
Oh, the beef with Tampa artists.
Don't forget, I'll forget.
She tried to just like slide that under. She's like, we're not going to talk about that.
And so we like the preliminary was at Hard Rock, killed it. Like my musician showed up 10 minutes late and I was like, I'm going to kill you because like I wasn't gigging at this point.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I had like I'm singing with I'm like playing I didn't even know Tori existed. Like I'm playing with this person I just met a week ago and he's getting here 10 minutes late and I put together this mashup of X Factor and If I Were a Boy by Beyonce and it was fire and it was just very it's so hard for me to remember like lyrics of songs that I've been like singing in my gigs for the past 10 years. But I mean, at that point I wasn't. So it was I was like I just locked myself in my room, like rewriting the lyrics over and over again because it wasn't like I just went from one song to another. I was like weaving them in between. Yeah. And so killed the Hard Rock one. And then the final one was in Janice. And my keyboardist fucks up. He goes to the wrong part. No. And I like practiced it enough that I stayed on the right part, which goes against everything you want to do.
Yeah.
Because I knew he was good enough to follow me. And then me singing the right part would remind him to jump back in. But it flustered me so much because that was the first time I was ever on a stage like that or a stage at all. Mm-hmm. But I was like so proud that I was like, I didn't just like, old me would have just, without all the shit that, you know, I went through and all of like the pushing myself to do things I didn't want to do, I probably just would have walked off the stage. Mm-hmm. But didn't win that one because of the fuck up. They were like, sucks. You just seem like unprepared. And I was like, I was prepared. Yeah. Someone else wasn't.
I had a show like that too. And the sucky part was we were playing the backing tracks. Mm-hmm. And so like you can't sync back up as a band.
Damn it.
If one guy is off.
So what did
and
you do?
he just kept going on that part, and I'm like, well, this is gonna collide with all of the
This
backing
is gonna be
tracks
a
for the
train
rest
wreck.
of the song.
Coming.
And so it was a train wreck.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was rough.
That hurts.
So note to self.
Yeah, note to self. Watch who you're trusting as your band.
Yeah, you just want to like melt into a puddle on the floor when shit like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So was that the coolest venue you've had the chance to play, or
No, so that was so
one?
sick. That was so sick just because it felt like an honor. Like, you know, I grew up going there, seeing like my favorite bands.
legends come through there?
Definitely one time had like an entire like mega pint of beer dumped on me when I was like 16 there. So it was like a fond memory. Love
What show was that? You know? Remember?
I'm pretty sure it was Under Oath.
Under Oath.
Or the Almost. I can't remember if the Almost, if he was still doing that then. But yeah, it was a great experience. And it was just so funny, like being back there and then being on stage, like seeing where I was standing when I was like so many years prior, being like, oh, that'd be so sick, but it'll never happen. But the sickest venue I did, and it wasn't because it's not really a venue. I mean, Curtis Hickson, you know, like how they do like Rock the Park and shit.
Yeah.
They invited me to sing at the Black Heritage Festival, like over like Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you guys looked at me? Like, what? And I was like, I'm honored. Obviously, I want to do this so badly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just don't feel like I'm going to be received well, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And so I get there. I had to get up at 3 a.m. to get makeup and hair done. And the only gig I had done before this was in the deli. So I went from the deli to like 5,000-6,000 people.
Damn.
And so I pull up, and there's like, you know how they have this stage right by the water, and then right behind the stage, massive stage, right behind it is all of these freaking Prevos. And I'm like, oh, it must be the headliner, because I think it was Layla Hathaway that year, which blew my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna sing on the same stage as Layla freaking Hathaway. Okay. And so I'm like looking at all these Prevos, and I'm like, are there more famous people here? There's like 10 here. And the event manager walked me over, and he's like, this one's yours. And I'm like, stop, what? You're joking. And I walk in, and it's just like,
that's freaking
like
cool.
it was just a green room, but in a freaking Prevo.
That's awesome.
And so I had like my vocal coach there, my mom there, and everyone. And I was in there, and I had a panic attack. I put all like the blinds down, and I'm just freaking praying and going over my warm-ups, because I decided to do a 14-minute Beyonce medley of like the world's hardest songs.
Yeah.
And my mom was just like, this is like so you. Like, you would pick the hardest thing to do. You don't, like, they said that you could just do one song. You're doing a mashup, a 14-minute mashup. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to, like, do it. Like, I want to honor it.
Did you kill it?
Killed it for my vocal ability at that time.
Nice.
Now I would just absolutely fucking destroy it.
So your stage presence, is that what you're saying?
My stage presence was great because I literally hired like someone to train me in like how to like confidently move across the stage, because at that point I'm like, I know I'll be good at this in 8 years, but right now I'm not, and I need to be for this gig. And so I was fine with that, but just like vocal ability wise, like runs, when I look back, I'm like, that was a little fucking rough, but it was like good for like where I was like vocally at that point. But to make it even more terrifying is there was a reggae band that went on right before me, and there was just one white chick, and I think she was playing the freaking drums or something, and they booed her off the stage, and I was up next. And I got up, and I was just like, okay, I think it's obvious I don't belong here. I'm so grateful that I'm here, and I just hope that, you know, you can like, we can all just enjoy this music together. And I wasn't booed, and I was like,
there we go.
You had a good reception?
Yeah, but I mean, I got off the stage. I mean, I was like crying because I had never been more, like I had never in my life accomplished something that made me so proud of myself up until that point. And I got like mobbed by people, and all of these security guys, like 9-foot security guys, are like leaning over the crowd, handing me their cards. They're like, you're going to need us. And I was like,
awesome.
that's insane.
That's
and that
sweet.
wasn't that long after I completed those contests. And that was just validation that I was like, holy shit, like
Maybe the reggae band just sucked.
Probably.
Yeah,
And they were
that's
like,
why they got
honestly,
booed off.
like, you can get off stage. Not just her, leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the most insane. I just felt like so blessed to be there, be offered, and then be welcomed.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's like your dream venue?
Madison Square Garden.
Oh, everyone says that.
No, I really want to do Red Rocks, like real bad.
There you go.
Real bad.
That's
I
awesome.
feel like that sound would be.
Have you
just
seen the
that
concert there?
fucking view, no,
Yeah.
and I want to so bad. I just feel like that view would be unforgettable
Mm-hmm.
from the stage.
That's like a bucket list item just to like see someone there.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
I
so
know there's other venues too. I can't think of them.
real quick, because I don't want us to forget, you did say circle back.
Oh my god,
to
you
to the
remembered.
You
The
said-
real
He's been thinking about this
I'm-
the whole
I'm
time.
about to
He's
He's like,
like,
I'm trying to hear this tea. Give it. Okay, so and this is now I realize how I got off track.
Okay.
Because I was saying how I make songs my own. Okay. So keyboardist I was working with at the time was also working with this other person, and like that keyboardist and I got along. I mean, not like to the extent that Tori and I do, but we definitely vibed. We clicked together very well musically, and but he was also playing with this other person, and so I'm like on Instagram one day and I hear, because like I have two ending songs, Superstition, because I feel like an ending of a set has to be so fucking mind-blowingly amazing that it like forces people to clap because you just held a note for 17 minutes, you know? I don't like it when I finish a song and it doesn't sound like the finale and people are like, what, is she done or what's going on?
Yeah.
So I have Superstition where I hold the note for a dumb amount of time, and then I have a medley of like Beyonce and Chaka Khan and shit. And I'm on freaking Instagram and I do like no one else does these songs, like arrange these songs like I do, because I did it.
Yeah.
Like with my keyboardist at the time. And I see her do the songs in my same fucking rendition. And I was like, bro, like that, like I'm embarrassed for you that you, because this person is good enough to come up with her own shit.
Certainly.
Like, and I was just like, this just makes me sad for you that you're just taking the easy way out. Because this is my sound. It's not yours. You have a different sound. Her sound is amazing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it was just like she was like, oh, that's sick. And I don't want to think of one of my own.
did you call her out?
In like I played like a long game. And then she like called me up at one of her gigs and I just did one of her songs just like she does it.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, why would you
love
do
it.
that? And I was just like, why would you do that?
Little
And she
petty,
was
I love
like,
it.
oh, I see what you mean. I was like, get your own swag. You
So she
can't-
hasn't done it since that you're aware of?
I think she's still doing it, honestly, with
she
two
really?
of the songs, yeah. And then also stole a gig from me. But that kind of, if I tell that story, if they watch it, they're going to know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Interesting.
we'll
I'll tell
leave
you
it.
after.
That one's off the record.
What are some of like what are some challenges you face being here in Tampa as an artist playing out, if any?
You seem like you got a good grasp because you've already kind of fermented
Yeah.
yourself with you and your mom around the time.
Yeah,
it seems
yeah.
like.
I mean,
Yeah, your mom's
she's a
killing it.
fucking walking legend
Yeah.
in all of Tampa. It's
So it seems like
it's
you
amazing.
like finding a gig isn't an issue for you. Is there some other thing that you run into often, or
yeah, shit pay.
should pay?
Because it's not even like part of it is just like I put so much work into my craft.
Right.
Like I don't just show up in flip-flops and jeans and sing, like Jason Mraz and leave. Like I am up like dancing, sweating. I'm like entertaining. I'm walking around the room while I'm singing. Like I'm taking like it's a show. It's a show to me. And so I feel like that is kind of the most depressing aspect of it, where people are like, yeah, we want you for 4 hours and we're going to pay $150. And I'm like, no. And it to me, that's so selfish on their part, because like I said earlier, like live music brings in people. So like, don't be greedy, because you're going to make up for it in the fact that, like when I'm at a gig and people come up to me after and they're like, we would have left 2 hours ago if you weren't here. And I'm like, I love that. Like,
Nice.
That's amazing. But yeah, that's kind of the disappointing part. This is what I want. I wish all of the musicians in Tampa and St. Pete and surrounding areas would all band together and just demand more pay, because it's the musicians that are taking gigs in freaking Safety Harbor for $100 that are freaking everyone else.
Or just tips.
Yeah,
like
just freaking like they're like, I'll work for beer. No, John, please don't do that, because it fucks it for everyone else. Because even if I sound like Beyonce, a venue is going to be like, okay, well, I have to pay her this much, but I pay this dude $100 and it's still live music. But if everyone was like, we're not going to accept anything less than like a fair amount for the work that we put in and the fact that we keep patrons in your establishment, like, then they'd be fucked.
And that part of it too, like you were saying, like they stayed for an extra 2 hours just to hear you. That I feel like is kind of rare here. Like you go somewhere like a music city, you go to New Orleans, for example.
Yeah.
You walk into a bar and those guys are playing their heart out and it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like they got the
like
full,
they're
like
leaving
the
it on the
big
freaking
band,
stage. Yeah.
Some dude on a trumpet and like it sounds incredible. Like you're staying there for that band.
Yeah.
But here I feel like it's a rare thing.
Like in the more touristy areas, like Don Cesar and Clearwater. That's why I really don't like doing beach gigs anymore. Like, I guess if I could just do like a solo set by myself, I just don't. I can play guitar, just not for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Then I would do that just for fun if like my keyboardist wasn't available or something. But
do you have a favorite like local artist here? I mean, besides Forest Lake.
Forest Lake.
Forest Lake all day, baby.
I have to get that.
Tori Thomas is one of my favorite artists.
Okay.
Tori's doing, as we've mentioned, Tori is the keyboardist, right? That's what. Okay,
yeah.
but he's also doing stuff outside of.
Yeah, and
what you guys work on. Okay.
He's really starting to sing more, which is only a blessing for the world, because he sounds like an angel cherub when he sings.
He has his own stuff out.
He has some covers out. He did a cover of "Fix You," which is like makes me cry every single time.
Me too. Same girl.
But just the like I feel like people don't appreciate the R&B scene in Tampa. Yeah. Like the R&B scene in Ybor, Tampa, St. Pete is amazing. Like, have you guys heard of Rhapsody Suites? So it's like they do it at 7th and Grove in Ybor. And it's just like a night of the best musicians in Tampa coming together, jamming. And it's like an entire show where like everyone, they've had 3 rehearsals and everyone gets up and does their own rendition of like, so they'll have a theme every time. Like it's like male and female duets. So it'll be like all 90s male and female. And like,
that's cool.
I'm just like astounded by the talent.
That's just once a year?
No, they do it, I think once every other month. But I'll send you. You need to come. You need to.
Once a year would be a bummer.
Right?
Yeah, just once a
You
year.
just put in like 40,000 rehearsals. That show would be bitching.
That's so cool. You wouldn't think of Tampa to be like an R&B spot.
And I didn't think it was either until my mom went out and was like, "This is nice." Yeah. And I was like, "Wow!" Like this is. So we've been going to Rhapsody Suites for, I think the last like 5 years, just so that I could like study what they were doing and like understand crowd work and shit.
St. Pete has a lot of spots too where like you'll just walk into a random bar on a Thursday night or something and there's like 3 old like crazy old guys playing $10,000 guitars and they're playing some of the best jazz you've ever heard. Yeah. And it's like, what?
Yeah. And you're like, where even am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had the wasn't Iberian Rooster, because that was in St. Pete. It was like there was a restaurant. It was sick, and then it was almost like a speakeasy downstairs, and they had some sick shows there too. All R&B.
That's cool. And see underground Tampa.
Yeah,
I did one show and I fucking bombed.
Really?
Not good.
Why? What happened?
Sometimes it's like weird. Sometimes I'm a perfectionist, and other times I'm like, let's freaking wing it. Like, what? Like, it's like I have dual personalities, and one's just unhinged all the time, and the other person's just like, this is gonna happen like this is gonna happen like, and then just someone takes over, and it's just not good. But it was just the first time I'd worked with a trio in a long time, so I definitely should have rehearsed. That was on me, but
on average, are you doing like 3 shows a week or 4? Or
now I'm a lot. I've slowed down a lot. I'm trying to focus more on social media because I feel like right now is like a really good time to like, especially with TikTok, with singing videos and stuff. But I've just been going through some gnarly health shit that kind of makes it difficult for me to gig, which sucks. It's just like I just don't have any energy because of what's going on. So that's a bummer. But I feel like, I mean, I'm coming out of a low point of it and I'm getting a little better. So now the priority is gigging as much as I was before.
Okay. Any upcoming shows this week or things that we can let people know for the Tampa artists or the Tampa fans out here?
I think I have. I know I'm at Cantina, Central Cantina in Ybor. I'm pretty sure it's next weekend. Okay. I'm pretty sure.
Forest Lake will be there.
Yeah,
you better be.
Front row VIP. We're getting VIP, right?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Better be.
I'll give you a freaking like lanyard and everything.
Oh, would you really?
Just with my face on it though.
We'll hang it on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll get it. So
Nice.
We're going to be kind of a big deal.
You will. You will.
Show. No, that's super sweet. I love that. And then
but can we back up? Because this cannot be like going out to dinner with your mom where you're like, and for this next song, we're going to bring up like, no.
It's
not happening. I see what he's saying. No. Oh, okay. Yeah. She's going to catch us on our off guard.
We'll just leave.
No,
then
won't happen.
Lanyard on the wall.
No, I would never do that to anyone. No, absolutely not.
We'd be ready though. We'd be ready. I mean, if you want
for
to,
our 3 songs,
if you want to throw us out there,
yeah.
We wouldn't take the stage away from you, but we would be ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to like steal the show. I feel like you guys would. Just steal all my shine.
The thunder. Yeah. No, we should put together a cool collab. I feel like we could do something sweet.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
you definitely would have to pick the song. You got the repertoire of like
just a few songs,
just 300 songs. No big deal.
Just a casual 300 songs.
That's incredible.
That's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much. So many songs in my head.
Isn't it crazy to think like how many songs and like all the lyrics that you remember in your head?
Yeah.
It's so much. Like, it's so many.
Weird to me is, and I think there's some, because I was reading about it, like if you sing, because I've been singing the same songs for a long ass time, and I like obviously like mix in a bunch, but some people, they're just crowd pleasers and I have to freaking do them, you know? Yeah. But like I'll forget the lyrics to like Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, but I'll remember like Fergalicious that I haven't listened to in 10 years and know every lyric, like could sing it backwards. I'm like, what is my brain doing?
Yeah. It's like there's no rhyme or reason to like all the things that are in your head stored. And like you were saying, like going down the rabbit hole on YouTube, you find yourself like, you look up, it's 3 a.m. and you're watching how cinder blocks are made and you're like,
right, I'm like,
how did we get here?
Literally last night I stayed up till 4 a.m. watching, I just found a TikTok channel where they clean rugs. Every single one. I was like, I fucking need to see another one. I need to see another one.
They have like the same process for every one. It's like a 6-step process.
Yes, and I need to see every single one.
Yeah.
And I have to see the finished product. Mm-hmm. Like if I were to, if my phone were to die without me seeing it clean, I would have a mental breakdown.
I literally did that same thing. Probably the same channel, the rug cleaning channel.
It's just so good.
Like 3 months ago.
I fucking hate it. I don't like it. Like the sun's rising and I'm just like, well, I've watched 700 carpets being cleaned. I think I should sleep now.
We have 30 more rugs to go.
I have to watch every single one.
Is it taxing a little bit being so focused on social media as an artist and then also like with what you try to do in your personal life?
Yeah, and it's been like really... I hate that you asked me this question now because this is the time where I'm like most bummed out about it, but it's probably the best time to ask. I just don't understand how people get so much shit done in their day when it's just like, it's so hard because I have ADHD and I have all of these fucking ideas going through my head at all times. And it's just like, that's why the people that I collab with, like, it's just worked out that they're the ones that are like, okay, we need to stay focused. Okay, we need to do this. Like, we'll do that idea later. We'll do it right after this one. But it's just like, I feel like if I don't get that idea, I'm going to forget it. And then I'm, so me working by myself is kind of, But what was your original question?
Well, because you want to focus more on social media right now. And then also just like, how do you balance that social life versus your personal and private life? And
I feel like with social media, when I am mentally the healthiest is I'm like, I post a video and then I just get off of it.
Just stay away.
And then I have to schedule like literally just 30 minutes to like scroll, look at like what's trending, and then I'll get off. Yeah. If I stay on, it's just like, I'm watching rugs. Or I'm like, this person sounds so much better than me. I should just go work at Walmart tomorrow. Like, it's just so defeating sometimes.
It's a crazy world.
And it's hard too. Like, I have so much respect for people because like I'll post something and I'm thinking like, oh, this singing video is great, like it's short, like it has the possibility of going somewhere, because it's like you want, like, if you're putting so much time into something, like, you want people to see it.
Absolutely.
And obviously the benefit of that is just a second stream of revenue coming off of TikTok. And when you don't get what you think it deserved, it's so defeating. And there's been like singers that I follow that like have maybe like 300 followers, and they're still religiously posting every single day, getting like 2 views. I'm like, how do you have, like, how do you wield that willpower?
That's crazy.
To be like, no one gives a shit, but I'm not going to stop. And those are the people, like, I feel like everyone in the industry has heard no more than anyone to ever exist. Like,
do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Like, it seems like there's so many artists right now, like, it's just infinite.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, there was no social media. It was more like word of mouth. Like, oh, hey, this band's really cool. They're coming to town. Let's go see them. That kind of thing. And I feel like that was easier for artists too. And their shit wasn't so diluted by like so many people doing the same thing. And like, I feel like now, like you were saying, like you spend the time, you make these really cool mashups, and say like you post that or something. Yeah. And then some artist in, Oregon is going to see like, oh, that's really cool. Let me steal that. Yeah. And maybe they're like playing bigger venues, and then they're going to get the recognition for that.
Exactly. Because, excuse me, that happened like with my comedy stuff. Like people would lip sync it and then pawn it off as their own. And I was like,
they would just take like the audio.
And it was like when TikTok really like first started, like I got like 5 million views on a video, and someone just took the audio. And she did the lip sync so well. Everyone in the comments was like, "Oh my god, you're so funny. How did you come up with this?" She was like, "I don't know. I just like was sitting in bed and thought." I was like, "You bitch."
She went with it.
She fucking went with. She went like all the way with it. She was just like, "Yeah, I'm a genius. This is my voice." It was So I definitely think it is. It's a double-edged sword. Like it's great to get. I mean, there's no other time. Like it is up to you how successful you want to be. Like if you are good and it. To me, it's like I've just been studying social media so hard because now I'm just trying to like work smarter and not harder, and like think like analyzing like the algorithms and the analytics and shit. And it's just like I forgot what I was gonna say again.
It happens.
What did you just say?
I forgot what I was gonna say.
This is the health problem. So I've been having seizures, and I feel like I need to say this because I've lost my train of thought 4 times, and every time you have a seizure, like brain cells die. So I'm essentially like really dumb right now, but I'll be smart again in a month.
Like that's a new like you were recently diagnosed with seizures, or
they just started happening.
Oh shit. Wow.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's just because there's so much talent in my body that like it couldn't contain it,
100%.
And then it just was like
it's so much.
Just started seizing, and I
like
get that. And it's all good, but it just fucking sucks when I'm doing a podcast and I can't remember what I was talking about.
Does that get triggered at all, like when you're playing shows like with lights and stuff?
No, thank God.
Nice.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
We had a light on.
We had this light, which if you stare into this light for too long, you'll just start hallucinating. It's nuts.
Wait, stop really.
We'll play it after, but
yeah,
it's
I
not
want
that
to see
bad.
it.
But that's good. We want to make sure that this is a safe, healthy place for you to not have a seizure.
Wouldn't that be amazing though if I just had a seizure on this podcast?
No.
We get so many views. So many views.
That's like Louis Capaldi, right?
Yeah.
He gets seizures.
I think his are like anxiety induced because he.
Oh really?
Yeah, because he. Did you watch? I want to watch that new documentary that he just put out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
But it looks so good because he suffers from such severe anxiety and crowd
fright.
Crowd fright.
Stage fright.
We got there.
There we go.
We got there.
I thought it was
as
really
a
cool
team.
though. Like he was kind of twitching out on stage, and the crowd like came in and like rescued him.
Because that's literally what happens to me.
That was so cool.
Like it's my limbs are like not my own. It's funny if it wasn't a seizure.
Yeah.
And then it would just be comical to me.
Well, we're gonna try to avoid having seizures on the show for right now.
But for right now.
Now. Maybe later we'll have a special edition.
Stay tuned.
The Forest Lake Night Show.
Forest Lake Night Show. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that does it for today. I would love to have you back on the show for sure.
I would love that. Yeah.
You bring a very cool energy, and I think it's really sweet.
Hell
I think
yeah,
our
brother.
viewers are gonna like it. But
yeah, we gotta make some music.
Yes.
And make some music for sure. Forest Lake teaming up with Corrine Oliviia.
Hell yeah. Maybe we could make like a diss track or something.
Well, what we're gonna make is a banger.
Fucking trail beats.
Yeah.
Trail beat bangers.
We can do that.
What does that mean? Trail. What is that? Is that something that we're?
Trail beats?
Oh, come on out.
Am I Am I the one who's losing brain cells over here?
It's just like
It's like cool.
it's just like pimp mindset. It's just like a way of life.
Yeah, it's
when
a way of
something
life.
is just fucking trill, dog. You know?
We're definitely.
Have you heard
back
of
on
a
the show.
circular definition? She like uses
Put it
the
in a
word.
sentence.
Trill means trill.
Yeah.
Corinne, it was an absolute blessing to have you on the show today. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much
you,
for
thank
having
you.
me. This was a blast. This was fun.
Absolutely, we're gonna have you back for sure.
I know
Hell
we
yeah.
promised we'll end this Wednesday of next year, but unfortunately, you know.
Yeah, we were just gonna do like an ongoing
Yeah.
Live
podcast till
stream.
2024.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it'd be super entertaining.
That would be a record.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're
I
only.
mean, do we
an
just
hour in.
send it?
Do we just keep
Let's
going?
Do we just
Send
keep
it.
going?
We stay here
Yeah.
for a year.
Okay.
Seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And then everybody be on the lookout. Come see Corrine Oliviia out in the Tampa area playing shows, rocking out.
Yeah,
playing
let the people
bangers.
know where they can find your music, upcoming shows.
So all
Yeah.
of my stuff is under Corrine Oliviia, CORRINEOLIVIIA. Had to add 2 I's because some bitch on YouTube already took Corrine Oliviia, and I was
That
just
was
like,
us.
Everybody's
"Fucking
stealing
kidding me,
your-
dude?"
That was
Your shit.
us.
But honestly, surprise. I honestly think it worked out for the best though, because with the 2 R's in Corinne and then the 2 I's in Olivia, that's just like marketing, just gold
It
right
fits.
there.
I do
like
Like
that.
it
Yeah, it
fits.
matches.
So that's just my username on everything, on Spotify, everything.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you all for tuning into another episode of the Forest Lake Morning Show. My name is Tyler,
Brendan.
and this is
Corinne, gang, gang.
Gang Gang. All right. What do we say? Cutie heads? Is that what the
Cutie
term is?
heads.
That's what I see on
Oh,
TikTok.
they
all the
did
time.
their research.
All right.
I love that.
Cutie heads, y'all have a beautiful day and catch us on the next episode of the Forest Lake Morning Show.
Yeah.
See ya.
Peace.